So this is the seventh lecture on continuity. In the last class, we had seen the topological equivalent definition of continuity and a corollary to that, and which says that open sets and closed sets are in the same way responsible in the topological definition of continuity. Moving from here, we have this is a theorem I have written because it is an extremely important result in the literature, but this is just a mere corollary to the earlier theorem. Now, in the book, you may find this is done in the very orthodox way, that is epsilon delta definition, but if you employ this topological definition, this theorem becomes a piece of cake to prove. Now, I thought of putting this theorem after the topological definition, just to show that how it makes our lives easier in the real analysis as well. This theorem says continuous function of a continuous function is a continuous function. Okay, I like to state it in this way. The first line of proof will be the very formal statement, but for remembering, that is your statement. Continuous function of a continuous function is a continuous function. So this means composition of two continuous functions is again a continuous function. So let A, B be non-empty subsets of R, and F from A to R, G from B to R be continuous functions, such that the range of F is inside the domain of G. To define the composite function, you must have the range of the first applied function to be inside the domain of the second applied function. So we need to show that the composite function G composite F is continuous over A. So here is your thing, A from B, F is taking A to B, G is taking B to R. So G composed F is taking from A to R. So observe that for any subset S of R, G composed F whole inverse of S is equal to F inverse of G inverse of S. Let G be any arbitrary open set. Fine. Then as small g is continuous, small g inverse of capital G is open in B. G pulls back capital G to another open set. That is an open set since G is continuous. Again, as F is continuous, F pulls back G inverse G, this one, to F inverse G inverse G, and that is also open in A. So what happens is this capital G gets pulled back to this one by G composed F whole inverse. And what we have that this set is open as well. That is G composed F whole inverse of capital G is open in A. Therefore, by the last theorem, G composed F is continuous over entire capital A. Something to tell you over here. You do not understand this one right now, but you may take my word for the time being. This one is extremely important in this proof. This part in B, this portion in B, this phrase G is continuous, G inverse of capital G is open in B. This is extremely important. In B, also open in A, all open in A. Please do not forget to write that in your answer. I am asking you at this point to memorize this thing and to write this in your answer. You will realize what this means in the course of metric spaces in this semester itself.